Why do you have to look poor? So today, in this video, as you can see, we're in my car. And I really wanted to make this video for you because it's a topic that's really close to my heart. A lot of people always try to look rich, but they don't realize just how harmful that can be for them. And I'm gonna show you here. Actually, in this short little video where I'm taking you with me here in the car, I'm going to explain why this is really one of the worst things you can do. Trying to look rich. First of all, it's about the kind of people you're gonna attract. You know, when you make it seem like you're rich, whether you really are or not, you're only gonna attract the wrong people. Only the wrong people, meaning gold-digging women, and you'll also only attract people who are really only interested in money. And the problem with that is you're gonna lose a lot, whether it's with friendships or with love. So when it comes to relationships, whether romantic or friendly, trying to look rich is harmful because you'll simply attract the wrong people. Next, when it comes to business, from a business perspective, for example, let's say you're offering a service to someone, to a company, okay? Let's say you're doing B2B. You're gonna offer a service to a company. With that company, you'll go to them and simply present your different services, right? When you offer those services to the company, if you try to show off your wealth and, for example, flaunt your Rolex, you put it out there like this. Your Rolex, right in front of their eyes, showing up with flashy luxury cars. Most people can't afford those things in a normal life, so the company will tend to think that you're squandering their money, that you don't manage your money well, that in reality, you're using your company's money. To overcharge, first, the clients, and second, it sends a signal that you're much more interested in money than in providing a quality service to the company. Even if it's not true, even if that's not really what you think, the problem is that in the collective imagination of companies, that's how it goes. And so subconsciously, the company will believe that even if it's not true. But the problem is that you make the company suspect that when you try to look rich. And that's really not good at all. That's really not good at all. Because a company will prefer to sign with another company that drives a regular car rather than a luxury car. Of course, you can hide it, whether it's in the first situation or even in the second situation. You can hide it, we agree. But still, you shouldn't give the impression that you're rich just because you have money. Third argument, and one of the most complicated, is with the tax authorities. When you start having money, you'll tend to buy a lot of things. And the problem is, when you start buying things that are beyond your means, and sometimes you don't even have that money, but you still want to prove something, you want to flex, you want to show others that you've made it. The tax authorities will come knocking at your door right away. You really need to believe me when I say this, they are absolutely not going to go easy on you at all. They won't show even a single shred of mercy or spare you for a second, simply because they're incredibly desperate to get their hands on all that money you seem to be carrying around right now. Because as far as they're concerned, you don't have it. But by always trying to prove yourself, by always showing off your wealth, they'll start to believe you do have it. So right there, that's already 3 arguments against it. And honestly, these days, the first impression you give, whether it's with friends, in business, or really in any aspect of your life, having money is great, but it should come second. That is, at first, you show that you don't have any. Once you see that you have enough closeness with the person, and you see that you really get along well, that's when you start to show it. And I'm going to tell you a little story here, so stick around until the end. Because you'll see, it's a story that cost me a lot of money just because I wanted to flex and look rich. And you'll see that, in fact, I literally lost everything trying to look rich. I just ended up making myself poor, actually. And to explain that to you, just before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. because I'm really going to show you and explain how I, at least, invest in my 20s. Well, now I'm 25, so mid-20s. And I'm just going to explain a little bit to you. My journey in finance and entrepreneurship, because I've started a lot of businesses and have also invested a lot of money in the stock market, and even now, once again, I still invest in the stock market. So how did I go from being someone who had a bit of money, well, at least more than average, to having nothing at all, just because I tried to show off that I had money and tried to prove to everyone that I was wealthy? But in reality, I was poor. A poor guy, you get it? So, at one time, I had an automation business. I'm talking about 3 years ago now. I was doing automation with Python, since I know how to code. That was actually one of my original professions. So I was coding for clients, programming, and doing automation work. Then, when I went to these clients, I would start by offering them a prospecting call. And after that, I would show them a mock-up to give them an idea of what I could do. And specifically, how I could help them automate tasks in their business that could be automated. And by doing that, one day, I show up at a company, and I show them my expertise. Basically, the service I want to sell them. And at that time, I had a Rolex. So as you can see here, I'm not wearing it in this video. I have a Casio, but originally I have Rolexes. Actually, several of them, I can tell you. And that particular Rolex, I wore it when I went over there. I start negotiating with the person, I start showing her, and she's really happy with what I'm showing her. And at some point, we start talking. Numbers. So the quote is very straightforward. For me, I start automation projects at a minimum of $10,000. So I tell her the price. It was $11,500. So then the client looks at me and says, "Do you really think we have the money to pay for that?" I say, "Wait, what do you mean? You had me come all the way here, I'm showing you, I already explained to you that it's already..." Look, it's a pretty big automation, it's gonna change a lot, it's gonna make you a lot of money. The person is an insurance broker, and that's a field that generates a lot of money. So honestly, I wasn't expecting them to say that to me. Especially since, like I told you, it's a field where insurance companies make a lot. So it really surprises me that companies like that say things like this to me. So I didn't take it badly at first, but I told him, I explained to him, I explained the value of my product, etc. And honestly, it's true, we were talking about almost 6 months of work. So I stood my ground, I told him, no, the price is fixed, it's not negotiable. Now, maybe we can negotiate on spreading out the payment, meaning paying in several installments. But as for the price itself, I can't negotiate on that. So he looks at me, he looks at my watch, it's a Rolex Datejust, and he says to me, "Wait a minute, you have a Rolex, I don't have one. You could at least lower the price." I said, "Hold on, let's just stop the deal right now. I'm not here to justify myself for anything. I bought my watch with my own money. I bought it simply because I had signed a lot of clients. So naturally, I had a bit of money, I wanted to flex, I wanted to show off. And anyway, really, the tone started to get heated. I really preferred to leave the company, to leave the room, because I knew it wasn't going to work out. It wasn't going to work out because the person thought that just because I had a Rolex, I was rich, and so I could give him cheap prices for my services. But no, a service is a service. I'm not going to start lowering my prices just because of that. And so, since that day, every time I go to present something, whether it's to a client, a company, or whatever, even someone I don't know at first, even on a date, just to tell you, I'm not going to go straight in, showing off my wealth like that in front of people. I'll start off by really going with, here, I have a little Toyota Corolla, I have a Casio watch, and that's perfectly fine for me, especially for everyday life. Now, I do have nicer cars, I have nicer watches, but in everyday life, I just like to use and enjoy simple things. A good old car, a good Toyota Corolla, and a good Casio, as long as they tell me the time, that's more than enough, and I don't need anything more. And so, like I told you, it really helped me close clients better, to have a better image, a good first impression with people. And just for that reason alone, I really recommend you start out this way. In any case, when you don't know the person, it's better to come across as poor. And really, we should. If I had to sum up the video, it's not about always appearing poor. Of course, there are times when you want to show what you have, especially if you've worked for it, etc. But at some point, when you don't know the person at first, you need to show that you're poor. You have to do it, because otherwise, showing that you're rich right from the start will only bring you trouble. Because people judge a lot based on first impressions. The first time someone sees you, it's like a label gets stuck on your forehead, and it won't leave you. It just won't leave you. So it's in your best interest to show that you don't have money, that you're poor, to really start off on a solid foundation. And later on, if you really trust that person, that client, then at that point, you can simply show them that you have money. That's it. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this new format. And don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I talk about finance, personal development, business, money, plain and simple. Everything someone who wants to make a lot of money needs to do in their life. The mindset, the attitude you need to have. It's all happening just below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Alright, see ya.